Hey everyone, if you're standing here right now trying to decide whether this VEVOR commercial ice cream machine is the real deal or just another overhyped kitchen gadget, I get it. You don't want to drop hundreds of dollars only to find out it can't keep up with your weekend dessert rush or that it takes forever to actually make anything. The last thing you need is a machine that looks good on paper but can't handle real-world use. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Now, let's talk about what this thing actually does. The headline says it pumps out 20 to 28 liters per hour, which sounds impressive until you realize that's under ideal conditions. If you're running it at home for family ice cream nights, you'll probably get closer to the lower end of that range, especially if you're cycling flavors or cleaning between batches. The 2,200-watt motor is beefy enough to handle thicker mixes, but don't expect it to churn out soft serve at the same speed as a dedicated commercial unit. It's commercial grade in name, but it's not a full-scale restaurant machine. If you're a small CAF owner or a serious home enthusiast planning to make gallons of ice cream every weekend, this could be a solid fit. If you're just looking to make a couple of pints once a month, you might be better off with something smaller and less expensive. One thing that actually surprised me was the pre-cooling fresh-keeping feature. Most home ice cream makers just dump in the mix and start churning, but this one has a built-in cooling system that keeps the mix at a stable temperature before you even hit start. That means less waiting around for the mix to chill down and more consistent texture right from the first scoop. It's not magic, you still need to freeze the mix beforehand, but it definitely smooths out the process if you're making multiple batches in a row. The upgraded puffing and hopper agitation system also helps with air incorporation, so you end up with a lighter, creamier texture compared to some cheaper machines that just slosh the mix around. Now, let's talk about the trade-offs. First, setup isn't as plug-and-play as you'd hope. This thing weighs about 50 pounds, so you're not just picking it up and moving it to the counter when you're done. It's freestanding, which is great for stability, but it's not something you'll want to tuck away in a cabinet. You'll need a dedicated spot for it, and that means planning your kitchen layout around it. The user-friendly controls are nice, but they're not idiot-proof. If you're not familiar with commercial-grade equipment, you might need to spend a few minutes reading the manual to get the timing and temperature dialed in. And while the machine is built for long-lasting performance, the seals and gaskets will wear out over time, especially if you're running it hot or using sugary mixes that can degrade the rubber over months of use. Replacement parts aren't hard to find, but they're an extra cost you'll need to budget for. Another thing to consider is noise. At 2,200 watts, this thing isn't quiet. If you're making ice cream during a party or a family gathering, it's going to be a noticeable hum in the background. It's not obnoxious, but it's not the kind of appliance you can run while having a conversation nearby. If you're sensitive to noise or live in an apartment with thin walls, that's worth thinking about. So who should buy this? If you're a small business owner like a food truck operator, a pop-up vendor, or a home-based dessert seller, this machine could be a game changer. It's fast enough to keep up with moderate demand, and the 3-flavor setup lets you offer variety without swapping out batches constantly. Home users who love experimenting with different ice cream recipes or who host frequent gatherings might also find it worth the investment, especially if you're tired of waiting hours for a single batch to churn. The pre-cooling feature alone saves you time if you're serious about consistency. Who should skip it? If you're a casual user who only makes ice cream a few times a year, this is overkill. You'd be better off with a smaller, cheaper machine that's easier to store and clean. Also, if you're expecting restaurant-level output or near-silent operation, you're going to be disappointed. This machine is powerful, but it's not silent, and it's not designed for 24/7 commercial use. If you're running a full-scale dessert shop, you'll want something more industrial. The bottom line? This VEVOR machine delivers on its promises if you know what you're getting into. It's not a magic bullet, but it's a solid piece of equipment for the right buyer. If you're ready to commit to the space it takes up and the noise it makes.